Good morning, students. Today our topic is Keynesian theory of income determinations. So it is the macroeconomics concept. The two major branches of the economic theory, that is microeconomic theory and macroeconomic theory. And macro theory is in which we are calculate aggregate demand, aggregate supply, total output, total employability, total consumption, total investment, total saving, national income, that comes under the and this is the classical theory. Classical, just I review the classical theory. Classical theory is given by the David Ricardo, and it is said that always total output and employment could not be fall, matlab always there is a full employment in the economy, and it is no unemployment is there, as total saving equal to total investment, and there is a free market, there is no role of the government and national trades. But full employment meaning means ki absence of involuntary unemployment. Involuntary unemployment means in a situation where a person willing to work at the prevailing wages rate but fail to find the work, so there is no unemployment. If unemployment is there, that is the voluntary. This is the classical review, and in but it is criticized, and in classical theory full employment of the normal condition, and there can be never deficiency of aggregate demand, will always aggregate demand equal to aggregate supply, and aggregate expenditure equal, or agriculture expenditure equal to aggregate income, or you can say aggregate demand always be aggregate income. And there is a free market flexibility automatically. If there are some inequilibrium, and there is automatically some variation in which unemployment, if unemployment situation is, it's a temporary. It is a similarly say, it's given by the Say's law. Say said ki supply creates its own demand. Matlab there is no demand without supply. First supply is there, so supply immediately demand should be increases. This is a Say law. So, and wealth is, and according to Say said ki wealth is created by the production, not by the consumption, by the ability to demand food, clothing and shelter devices from the productivity of my labor or any labor assets, the higher or lower productivity to the higher or lower of the power of demand. And Say's law, Say is also said that ki all saving is transfer, all saving is equal to all investment, and government do not perform any economic activities between expenditure, taxation, subsidies like that. There is no, there is a laissez-faire economy, no government in there, and it is a closed economy. Closed economy means there is no intervention of the overseas activities. So says ki say income, here Y shows the income and C shows the consumption and S show the saving. So Y income is equal to consumption plus saving, and if you want to saving, like if I income as a 10,000, so if I consume 8,000, so my saving is 2,000. So it means income has only the two parts, saving or consumption. This, but in 1930, Keynes has criticized this Say's law, and says कि there may be not always be equal. Classical is failed to explain, provide the workable मतलब temporary situation. So that J.M. Keynes comes with the new classical theory, and he says criticize that real wages and money wages. Real main wages means कि which a person have the real, this is real money power, what is actually real he is, and money what in cash, what he getting in the money form. And say Keynes is also says that there is always full employment. A situation is not a realistic, this is the main. And rate of if there are some changes, so rate of interest will vary according to our saving and investment. So in short term national income, and so short term period level of national income, employability, aggregate demand and aggregate supply is always be equilibrium. And this is, so Keynes use the word not aggregate demand, Keynes use the word effective demand. So effective demand represent the aggregate demand or total spending which match the aggregate supply. So if effective demand means equal to C plus S, मतलब all saving is going to investment. The demand is C plus I and aggregate supply is C plus S. There is always be a equilibrium position. Equilibrium position means effective demand equal to aggregate supply, and it implies that the national income and employment which corresponding the effective demand are equilibrium. If there is effective demand, it means national income and employment, there is a balance, national income and employment. And in classical they are sort of the temporary phenomena. So Keynes say कि equilibrium is there and full employment is also there. So as determine now Keynes says कि what is the determinants of income. Income determinants is consumption and plus investment. So aggregate demand price is the amount of money which entrepreneur actually earn or receive from the sale of their output. So determinants of income means if my employment increases, they have getting more salary they spend, they demand for that product, and they spend that money. This is just like a cycle means when I am employed, I'm getting amount, I'm spend it in the market, and all amount which I earned I spend to the purchase of that goods. So all money back to the industry. This is just like a cycle. So that our income level depend on our circulation of demand. So that is called aggregate demand is effective demand. But Keynes also explained the aggregate supply. Aggregate supply is the flow of output produced by the employment, which industry produce the output, he sell it in the market as aggregate supply. It is included all final goods and services. Aggregate supply prices is minimum amount of the money which the entrepreneur must expect to receive in order to sell out his product. So this is always equal to our demand. And where is the balance? Balance is always just like that. Key aggregate supplies which starts from 0 is a C plus S. This is my aggregate supply, and consumption is always, this is my income, C plus I, which I consumption is always start from the upward. 0 to this point, it shows that this is the basic expenditure which I have in saving is 0, but I have to spend. So consumption is always equal to A plus BY. A means which I showed you the earlier that. So it means कि consumption is A plus BY. B means the marginal change in the consumption. A means if my saving is nil, my income is 0, but minimum consumption I will do, that is just like a fixed consumption. But if you talk about the BY, if my income is changes, my consumption is also changes parallel to the income. So this is called C is equal to A plus BY. And now we talk about the importance of effective demand. If importance of effective demand, it is based on the macro level. So it is the determinant of the employment. It is the Say's law false, क्योंकि Say says supply created on demand. No, Keynes says कि when employment is there, income is there, uh, demand is there, then according to supply. Role of an investment, if demand is more, obviously full employment is there, obviously investment should be higher. Capitalistic economy means there is no gap between the income and the income and expenditure, the gap between is not there, it is fulfilled by the investment. So but in 1917 Keynesian theory is also criticized due to J.M. Keynes had laid the more emphasis on determinants of effective demand, but general theory of Keynes is applicable developed